Good day, everyone. Again, we'd like to welcome you to our open library. Today, we'll be discussing R as an object-oriented program. By the end of this presentation, you will understand the concept of an object in R. You'll be able to identify the type of object, especially the basic types of object we use, like vectors, data frame, functions. You'll be able to identify them, and you also be able to apply functions to objects in R. Besides that, you will be able to access object attributes using a class function. What that object? First of all, understand what that object. So when we talk about object, we're talking about objects are the data structures that stores our values, functions, or other objects, right? So everything within the software we consider it as an object. Objects are the numbers, the vectors, the data frame, even the function we use to consider them as an object. Objects help us to organize our data and work with it effectively. How do you describe an object? To describe an object, R has built-in functions we use, and one of those functions is the class function. We use the class function to access object's attribute. So once you apply the class function to an object, it will tell you the property of that object. If the object is categorical, if it is continuous, or if the object is a vector, if it's a data frame, if it's a function, it will tell you which of the object you're working with. What is a vector? Vectors are simplest of the most common object in R. On top of vector, we're talking about the simplest of the most common object in R. So yes, a vector is a basic structure that contains elements of the same type. It can be numbers, it can be character. Vectors are one dimension, just a list, right? Like the two vectors we are looking at, two different types of vectors. We got scope vector and also got sex vector. So just the scope of the class, just list the scope of the class, maybe for a specific subject, the scope or is a vector, the sex of the class. Maybe you got 5 persons in the class, just list that sex, consider as a vector, just a list, no dimension. So to create a vector, we got a function we use called the C function. The C function to create a vector. So we practice that within our script. What is a data frame? A data frame is like a table, right? Or just think about a spreadsheet, just a way looking has rows and column, and you got dimension. So just a way spreadsheet looking is the same way data frame looking, right? So data frame contains rows and columns. So the columns within a data frame are vectors. All of the vectors must have the same length within a data frame. So for example, our two vectors we're using, we merge them or we put them together and we have an example of a data frame. So we join the two vectors side by side, which we practice in our script and we get our data frame. So maybe student 1 is a male, and get 60, student 2, she's a female, 70, just like that. So merging the two vectors side by side is considered as a data frame. So discuss about functions. What are functions in R? So functions are reusable codes that perform a specific task. Functions help us to make our work more efficient, organized, function are reusable codes. So got a lot of function within the software. Arrow has built-in functions, although you need to download uh, packages for certain functions that you can have in Arrow or that is not inbuilt. You have to download or have install package to use them. But we are discussing inbuilt functions. There are a lot of inbuilt functions we use in Arrow. And some of those basic functions are like class function, sum, may, table are all functions we use. So the class function help you to know the object attribute, which of the object you're working with, like we said. The sum function is just to maybe sum all numbers, maybe to give you an average or a specific vector. And a table function give you the frequency distribution, of a categorical variable. Let's go to our script now to see what we can get from there. We come in our script. So if you open the script, what I want to do here is to create a vector and to create a data frame and also apply some of the functions we talked about. So our first vector I want to create is the scope vector we have in our PPT. Similar thing like that. So to create a scope vector, we start to create a vector use the C function. Use the C function, okay. And you put your list of elements within your similar element, right? So student 1, 50, student 2, 60, student 3, 98, just like that, 30, student 4, and student 8. So that is the vector created for the score of the class. So we want to assign it to this vector, to assign score vector to it. Assign score vector to this as the name of this vector. And after that, some of the functions we talk about, we want to use it on this vector. So one of the functions we can use on this vector is the sum function in some way, and all the score within the class, right? So we use the sum function is inbuilt function. So we put this vector name there and we run it. We come here to run it. So uh got 316, so just sum up the numbers. So another function we can use on this is the me function, right? The me will give an average of the class, right? Is to put a score vector here and 63.2 the me. So another vector we talk about the sex vector. So we have to create a sex vector again. So we say to create vector is the C function. So the C, and if you observe, are putting this in code. So character vectors are usually in quotes. What is the male, female, character vectors are usually in quote. Female. And you run this, so create our vectors. And we want to assign name to this vector as well. The way we assign school vector to this, we can name it sex vector. Copy this here, send it. So get our sex vector. So one of the functions we can use on the sex vector is a table function, right? So we use a table function on this uh, table and sex. You run this. So it give you a frequency distribution of the sex. So it tell you that we got two persons in the class are male, we got three persons as female. So one of the other function I talk about, we talk about class function, we use to access object attributes. So we can use the class on, they use the class on the proof vectors with the class for our school. So there is numeric. That's why it's important to always know the attribute of that particular object you're working with. So with a class on sex vector is character. So to create a data frame, we got a function called data.frame we use to create a data frame. The data a frame we use to create a frame, you can choose this and you put in your vectors. We already create our vectors, so we just put in our vectors side by side. So it can be either of them can be first, right? So for sex vector, comma school vector. And if you run this, you get your data frame. So this is student one, female 50 at school, student two male 60. So that's how we create a data frame. You see, we got two vectors side by side in your data frame. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching, and please join us in our next video. Bye.